Hello everyone, I'm going to go over some of the final performance things that you guys can be doing in the last few weeks for your performance category. So right now I'm mostly in the fourth step here. Most everyone's got their first draft done, and so we don't really need to focus on that too much anymore. So looking down here where it says finalize your performance by having teachers and other professionals go through the performance checklist, that's where we're going to start. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. And this first part is a checklist. You don't need to actually fill anything out or even print it out if you don't want to. But basically just make sure that you have met all these requirements. So it's going to talk about just parts of the performance. It's going to talk about the specific written materials you need and the rules that you have to go over. And again, you don't need to sign it either or date it. You just need to look over these and make sure that you are meeting these requirements. And that's it. Okay? So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Next one, add writing and evidence to get script closer to 10 minutes. So all the performances, you receive some editing, you receive some comments from me, and what I would like you to do is just try to work on getting your script closer to 10 minutes, and that also means working in some evidence. And so if you have primary sources, quotes especially, things that come from the actual research you've done that you can put into the performance, that's what you'd want to do. Another one a lot of people don't realize is they need to find ways to relate it to the theme. So right now, this year's theme in 2019 is Triumph and Tragedy. So how can you relate your performance to Triumph and Tragedy? Well, if you have 2 or 3 minutes left of your performance to add, maybe sprinkle in some lines that really get into what Triumph and Tragedy is. Add a narrator if you don't have one. Your narrator could actually tell the audience how the performance shows Triumph and Tragedy. Or you could just find creative ways to add that element into it. So that would be one way to add 10 minutes. And again, like I said before, just add primary sources. That's the best way to do it. And if you're really having a hard time, ask me. But we want to get it as close to 10 minutes as possible. Next says make a rehearsal schedule. Here's my advice. You need to practice the performance 45 to 60 minutes a day on average. Now, that does not mean you need to practice every single day, but it means you need to average it out. So, for example, say on Tuesday you practice for 45 minutes. Then on Wednesday, you can skip the practice. But on that Thursday, you should practice for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So that's my advice. Make sure you are actually spending an hour average every day. If you end up, not practicing a lot during the weekdays, maybe on the weekends, you or your partners can all come together and practice this script. All right, next thing. Record your performance once a week. You can just do that with me. I like to do it at a week in between. So if you recorded your last time on a Friday, then you shouldn't record again until Thursday or Friday next week. So it's just nice to see yourself perform. It's a good way to kind of see how you're improving it or what your weaknesses are. But we do want to make a recording of the performances just so we have something to show improvement. And then the final thing, you need to start building your props and creating costumes. You actually do want to make sure that you are starting to do the prop list, do the costume list, and start showing me those things being created. That does not mean drawing. That means actually going out, purchasing things, or building or designing, doing something to show me that those things are being done. Remember, you have to dress in whatever period that you're presenting in. So if you are 1800s, you're dressing like somebody in the 1800s. If you're like the turn of the 19th century, like I know we have somebody doing the Newsies, then yes, you need to dress like the Newsies. So figure out how that would look like. And if you don't know, go to Google, type in that time period, type in people, kind of look at images, get a guess. And again, if you need help, let me know. That's pretty much it. We're going to continue this all the way until the end, and then you guys will receive a few more peer edits and one more edit from me. But you guys have 3 more weeks to practice this and rehearse this performance and make it better. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you. That's pretty much it. Bye.